Extremely dead guy just redeemed first.
Hi chat. Hello. Welcome back to another coding stream. And let me see if I can set everything up the way we need it to be. Ooh, no, that one. It's these. That is one. That is number 2, which is right here. And that one is not showing up. Interesting. And then that is 3, which needs to be... Where is... There we go. Okay, so why are you not showing up? Oh, there we go. Alright, hey, I got it all sorted. Epic. Alright, chat. I was thinking, what can we do today? Like, what can we do that's a bit interesting? And there are some of the basic game structures that I kind of want to do. One of those is kit selection. So I was trying to think out, like, how would you do that? Do we have everything, or do we know everything we need to know in order to be able to do that? To a degree, we do. However, we haven't yet learned how to do player-specific settings, right? Like, how do I store what role a specific player will be getting? Or even if we're talking about something with parkour, like, how do I store per player? Well, I guess technically speaking, you could store it on the player, right? Maybe we do have everything we need. Because you can give the player... I want to call them tags. They're not tags, right? But you could store something on the player. Like we did with the butterfly wings, right? So maybe we can do that. However, because I couldn't figure that out beforehand, I figured let's continue with part 2 of GUI menus. It's a video of half an hour, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what this is about today, and you know, go from there. Maybe now that I've finally figured out that we can do that stuff, maybe we can actually go do some game-specific things. Because that would be fun. I also saw custom crafting recipes, which also could be really, really fun. What else do we have on the list? I mean, it's how many episodes are there? Of course, there are 69 episodes, but episode number 68 is missing. Yeah, very funny. Okay. Okay, but let's continue with GUI menus. Let me switch that to this so you guys can see. If you ever want me to like make the screen bigger or anything, let me know, right? But for now, let's do it like this. I did not mean to do that again because I had already loaded it in. I don't know why I clicked there. Smart me. Yep. Man. That did remind me I don't have Firefox unmuted for you guys.
Fancy. This is very, very quick way how to create a...
No.
We'll
Let's
end up
start
having very advanced menu systems, including animations, as you can see right here, and then also pages. So you can actually go back into a previous menu, and then something called paged menu, which is going to give you a list of items which you can click and receive these eggs, plus also something called a menu container, which simply gives you the option to place things into not here, but here, into selected spots, and take them away. So now, as I mentioned in the last video, Bukkit does not really gives us a way to create these menus, so we're going to be using a library called the Foundation that makes it so simple, because in Bukkit, simply creating a basic item stack takes so many lines of code, let alone creating multi-paged menu. That would go absolutely bonkers, and you would have to spend 5 to 8 hours just having a basic setup, this library is the best menu libraries ever. We've been developing it for the last 7 years, I think, and over 1,000 people have been using it for now. So the way you're gonna get Foundation is you jump over to GitHub, github.com/kankerko/.
Did you give us the link? Perchance Foundation. Yes, you did. Nice. That is a YouTube link. Oh no, there we go. That's a GitHub link.
/foundation, or you can go to mineacademy.org/foundation, and this is going to redirect you into this very page. And then down here it says quick start guide. So first of all, we need to import it using Maven. This is very simple. You simply copy the repositories right here, and you head over to your POM file, and then you simply place the repository into your repository section. That's step one. Step two is you copy the dependency right here, and you place it below what we had previously, right? You place it right.
Okay, what issue? Maven. No Maven here. We do... What was it again? Gradle. Using Maven Gradle. Where do we? I should have looked ahead properly. To the importing section. Does it work the exact same in Gradle then? Maven has a limitation whereby the plugins will end up in your plugin jar file if you don't configure the main. Okay, I will look into that a bit more later.
Right here, and then you change the version. So you change the version, it says replace with the latest version, and you change it with whatever is in the releases. Excuse me, 6.4.5 released 25 minutes ago. Awesome. So 6.4.5, and that's it, right? That's the number one. Then step number two is we need to do some changes right here inside our main class. Instead of having Java plugin in Foundation, every plugin is simple plugin. There we go. And the reason for that is that we need to do some custom logic underneath to make sure to register these menus and everything so that you don't have to do it. Just as we did GUI listener, well, now you can just delete the entire GUI listener because Foundation takes care of that for you automatically. So you can delete that. However, it's only this video that I'm going to be using Foundation. So in the next one, I'm not going to be using it. We're just going to be continuing using the basic Spigot or Paper API. Just this video. So if you want to proceed using Foundation, you can delete GUI listener. Make sure also delete this line. Then if you don't, then just watch this video to the end, and then in the next one we're going to be proceeding normally. So that's one thing. Also, on enable is now called on plugin start, and on disable.
Okay, I don't like that because this is gonna change a lot of stuff. Let's just look at what he manages to create with it and move on to the next one. Guess no more GUIs then.
Are right here at the bottom slot, we'll simply return no item, right? Very simple. Now, there's also one more thing we're not going to be able to.
I want to see what you make of it.
Row is unprotected and the other row is protected. That's why we have it. By the way, this very change the items, and I can actually just take away these items. However, okay, great. So that one is a bug because I was supposed to say less or equal, because remember, remember this goes from 0 to 8, right? So even I make this mistake all the time, 0 to 8, and then 9 is a protected slot. So this is the fixed code, right? And then you can't really place items into these slots. These are protected. And also Foundation protects you from shift clicking, even on the slots which you can take. You can't really just shift click right here because of some duplication exploits in other menu libraries, which is completely disable that feature. I know it can get a bit annoying because you have to manually click, but it's better to be saved than duped, as I say. All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Now, also,
That's an interesting one. Yeah, I didn't really. Okay. Well. We could try the kit selection thing, see if we can figure it out with what we've got, right? Meaning I am gonna get rid of this one for a little bit because we are not gonna get any new information from you. There we go. And we're gonna look into how all of this worked. So with the butterfly one, how did we check if a player had a kit and all that? No, not had a kit. Was assigned to the butterfly wings. Modify task instance get instance if instance dot has player dot so if the butterfly task instance. Oh, how did that work again? It was a UUID set. Why do we work with a set again? Why not with... Well, it's a set and not a queue, I guess, so that's okay. And we don't care about positions in the set, we only care whether it is in or not. Okay, but this is only for this one. It was I check if the player has that attached to it, and if it is a yes, then we do one thing, and if it's a no, we do another. So we could do that with kit selection, but then every kit has its own instance, right? And that feels like a very roundabout and inefficient way. What I could do is I could just make multiple sets, and then like each kit has its own set of UUIDs. And then I could... Can I run through a set? Or do I do that from... I guess I do that from a player's perspective, right? Like, I go through all players, I see which set it belongs to, and then I give it the kit stuff. Instead of running through all of the UUIDs in the set. Still feels kind of... How would you make that work? I guess you could make it an array with a UUID and then whatever was selected. Right, because if I do the listener, so what would you do? You would run as the person who's running the game. You would run this command. Everyone has a menu that opens up. So it's not on click, but it's like on command. And then you would get all players. That is an interesting one already. Should be doable though. And then for each player in that set, I do wonder, like, how does this stuff work on multiplayer? That's always my question, isn't it? Because, I mean, it's very easy to do this on single player. With single player, you could even work with the, what was it? The settings file. Because then it's just one player. And then it doesn't matter. I guess you could work with the settings file by storing the UUID and then... Speaking of, how do we work with points? How did I work with the Wackabat stuff? Wait, is that in the settings? Yeah, we have player score. Instead of working with, for example, a scoreboard. Working like this would of course be very... I don't know what the word is anymore. But if someone disconnects, for example, I think all of their metadata is gone. Right? So then this would mean the metadata stays. Because it's still in the settings file and it's not attached to the player being there. I guess? Would the same thing hold for... At the same time... Oh my gosh, sorry chat, so many thoughts. First question was, would the same thing like hold for kit selection? Like, because then if someone disconnects, you also have it saved here and not on the player. But then do you need it to be saved here? Or, because you could, I guess in theory you could do it very easily and just have people select kits every round. Which, I guess that's mostly dependent on what you want. I tend to prefer that, because then you can switch strategies midway through. I guess? But it kind of makes it the whole thing a moot point, right? Because then I just kit selection, select the kit, give person kit. You don't have to store anything. And then even if you want to undo, you just delete all the items in the inventory and open up the menu again. I guess the most tricky part about kit selection is the communication with the other players, because you have to store per team which one has already been taken if you want to limit the amount of kits everyone, like the amount of players. Wait, the amount of players per team per kit. Something like that. If every kit is only allowed to be picked once in a team, then that needs to be communicated to everyone else in that team, but only in that team. I don't think we might have a solution for that yet. How would one go about that? Well, I guess selecting it. Okay, in theory, you could say selecting it via, where is it? Was it the listener? You know, event get slot, whatever it was clicked on renders the slot unclickable. But then how do you undo that? Like if you were to want to choose another kit. How would you do that anyway? Theoretically speaking, I guess you could have a continuous check on which kits have been picked, but that sounds hecking like ineffective. You could check for a certain item in the inventory, like kit specific item. I don't know, I feel like giving a person a tag should be doable then, right? Like just like we did with the butterfly one. What about if we were to do checkpoint stuff? Do I just... I'm trying to think of how I know that some other events do it, right? For a lot of events, I don't know. Ew. I know MCHL works with armor stands, right? Or pressure plates or whatever. You could have a player interact with something, and I don't know how you would do that with armor stands. But for example, with a pressure plate, like if you set off a pressure plate, if you interact with that pressure plate, it adds you to the set of people who have reached. That sounds hecking annoying though. Because in that case, I also need to store where every pressure plate is located in order to TP people back to it, which is gonna make it really annoying to change your parkour, because you have to redo like a lot of the work. It's doable. It just doesn't sound optimal. Instead, what you would want is, upon interaction with, for example, the pressure plate, I want to store the location of the player. Would that be doable? So upon someone reaching a pressure plate, I set that person's I have like an array, I guess. I love arrays. I'm sorry, chat. I love arrays. I have an array with UUIDs and there is a connection between the UUID and the location of the player. And then every time they fall, I just locate to that last updated like location. And then when they hit the next pressure plate, that location is updated. How do I do that? Because then it would be based on like then the game is generating these coordinates itself, and then I don't have to hard code in where all these coordinates are, which would be a whole lot more versatile. How do you do that for points though? Because you then can't say whenever I reach a new checkpoint, I add points to your scoreboard, because if they walk over it again, they would get more points. Would be easy if your parkour is just in one direction, because then you can go by, I don't know, the X value to see how far someone has gotten. In theory, I could, upon walking over a checkpoint, I can check whether the coordinates are the same as the ones you already have. And if not, then add points, because then it's theoretically speaking a new checkpoint, but it doesn't have to be, right? Because I could fall, like, if we, for example, take MCHL's parkour, there is a world in which I fall down and hit an old checkpoint. Oh gosh, that's a good question. How would you even go about that? Do we really just not have enough knowledge yet to figure this out? Like, are we missing some key components? I mean, once again, right, we can make it work. I'm just looking for like a versatile and sort of optimized way. Because I don't want to hard code all the coordinates in. I don't want to have to force my parkour to be a specific way to prevent players from cheating. Because in theory, you know, they can always just go back. Well, not always, but once again, then you're forcing your parkour to be a certain way in which the player can never return to where you started. I don't want to do that. It would work for a race to just store the last coordinates, because then in races your points are dependent on your placement and not on how many checkpoints you hit. Right? So we would be able to make a racing game, I guess. Yeah, because for a racing game, what do you need? I feel like a racing game is really easy to make, right? Like, you would want a countdown, and then upon a countdown being over, you make the barriers at the start disappear. That will probably work via a fill command, so that requires hard-coded coordinates, but you do that on one place for every map you've got. So that should be pretty easy to do. And then you have certain checkpoints on your map. Which you once again could do with pressure plates. How do other games do that though? Because I don't think I've seen pressure plates like ever in a racing game. Is that then what was that again? There was an interaction entity. Oh, wait. There was an interaction entity. And I remember we were using that to change the state as if it was a button, as if like you tapped the block and then it would change its state. Would that also work by running through? probably would, right? Like, stepping on something is also, I think, would also be an interaction, no? Do I remember what that block was called? Yeah, Google. That is Minecraft interaction entity. Is it just an interaction entity? Oh, it's just called an interaction entity. Epic. Didn't think it was that simple. Minecraft's hardly ever that simple or straightforward. Interaction entities record the UID of the last player that left and right-clicked them. Darn it! Okay, do we have anything that's similar to this then? Yeah, it's just attacked and interact. It's not walked across. Ah, such. What else do we have then? Do you just continuously check whether people cross? For example, armor stance? Is that like a continuous check? I feel like you wouldn't want the game to be running that constantly. I feel like you want it to be a reactive to the player being somewhere, or walking over something, or walking through something. Right? You want it to be on the player side, not on the game's side, I guess. Okay. We might not yet have everything to we have like to make a good racing thing. I mean, beyond being able to save the checkpoints, because once again we could default to pressure plates for that, right? I think, because if I have a like a full row of pressure plates, there is no way to get. Oh, you could jump over them, I guess. Yeah, pressure plates are not foolproof. By the way, chat, if there's anything you need to know, I love to foolproof my code. Like, I have come across my fair share of, the debate is whether they are just stupid or whether they're actively trying to break your code. Maybe it's both. Sometimes, but a lot of people who just don't interact with your system the way you design it, right? Like, that's a very common thing, I think. So I try to always foolproof it for those kinds of people. The people who are actively trying to break your stuff, and people who are like accidentally are trying to break your stuff, to break the flow of your game. Which means pressure plates actually are not that good an idea. We might not have everything, but beyond that, the same issue holds for if a player stands on a block that's meant to make you faster, float, launch, whatever, you know, launch pads, give you elytras, give you tridents, whatever. All of those require detection of a player walking across something. Brrr. I was trying to look through the list of videos that we still have to see if I could find anything that most likely will be you know, this sort of, what do you call it? Okay, there are videos about custom villager traits, which you can do that via commands. But I also saw something about a Discord integration, which is that is actually really, really interesting, and something I need for Winterland, potentially. But also maybe not something for stream. There's a lot of other APIs that they're talking about. Okay. So we're missing some knowledge on detection, I guess it's called. We can call it. And we're missing some knowledge on storage. Like, what is... Can I store stuff? I mean, I can store stuff on the player. I do that here. No, I don't do that here. I can't store stuff on the player yet, because this is saved on the instance. But I assume, I mean, there's always scoreboards and such. I guess in theory, also for the kit selection, you could have a scoreboard where a certain value on the scoreboard is linked to a certain kit. Oh, now that I'm thinking of it, in theory you could do all of this with scoreboards, right? I don't know if that's the most efficient way, because scoreboards is just one number. But I have used scoreboards for coordinates before. It just means you have 3 different scoreboards. speaking of chat, did I ever talk to you guys about the map that Speedy and I were trying to make? Somewhere in April, I believe it was, for the EX plugin. Yeah, I mean, weekend, I guess, where like you had 4 days to make a map. It was a map creation thing. You had to make a map from scratch in 4 days, and we wanted to do one where the player would shrink and grow. I had searched and everything, and I couldn't find a way to like actually make the player shrink and grow. So we just had like 3 different versions of the map, or that was the idea. We ended up with only 2, where the second map had like everything twice as big. And then the idea was that if you ate one mushroom, you would move over to the other map, and if you ate the other mushroom, you would move back. And it just wouldn't work. It refused to work. And then I think it was a month later or something where I found out that there's a scale command. And you can like actually scale a player up and down. And I was like, dude, Google, this was exactly what I needed. Why did you not give me this? It would have made everything so much easier. We would have actually been able to finish the map if we had. But now we weren't. Well, we actually might return to it, like see if we can figure out. And also, me now knowing plugins, that also helps. Because back then I was doing everything with command blocks and such, which was fun to figure out. Like doing math with command blocks is something. Very much something. Anyway. We're an hour in. We haven't coded anything yet, by the way. Because I keep on brainstorming how to go about like making some of these things. But yeah, in theory, you will be able to use scoreboards for the kit selection, I guess, and then just hide the. Would you be able to do that? I don't know how to get a value. Not in here. I know that, like, or at least I know I've used it via command blocks. I don't know. How do you even access scoreboards via code over here? I know there's a video on that. Oh. Hey, chat. You'll never guess. Shush. You'll never guess what the next video is, actually. Yeah. You'll never guess it. On scoreboards. Alright. Guess we're returning. Hey. Hydrate will do. Thank you, Gavi. How is you? You haven't really missed anything this stream besides me pondering over how to do kit registration, oh my gosh, what's the word? Checkpoint detection. Trying to figure out if there is like something standard game-ish that we could do. I mean, in theory, I think tag should be doable. Right? Like you upon interaction, Actually, no, because you need to make a difference between the hunter and the runners. How would you do that? Because there's of course also the big difference between, do I have everyone on the same playing field or not? Because I know clicks works with oh my gosh. Okay, so it's a team v team, right? Team 1 versus team 2. And team 1 has a runner and who's hunting, or has a hunter who's hunting the runners of team 2, and they are on the same map as where the hunter of team 2 is trying to hunt the runners of team 1. That's why you sometimes see snowballs fly past that don't belong to your hunter, as in the hunter that is hunting you. You sometimes see random snowballs fly. But then it's even more difficult because you can't even see the other team, whereas... Oh my gosh, what is... how... I don't know anymore. Why is everything so complicated? Fusion, Frenzy, Finale tag is the exact same? Okay. I don't know, because I have heard a few Minecraft plugin devs talk about how hard it is to hide some people from others. Because you would be making... yeah, especially with like glowing, making someone glow only for a certain... I remember it was really, really difficult. Like, as in, it was undoable in Origins to have entities only glow for one person. Like the tag mechanic itself, like the upon interaction, you either freeze and freeze tag, or you get TP'd to somewhere else where, you know, you're out. That's not hard. Yeah, the issue lies in keeping track of who can hunt, I guess, because it's not on every interaction. It will be on interaction, check if this player... oh, then you could work with the set of UUIDs, because then it is on interaction, check if this player is in this set of UUIDs of people who are hunters, and if they are not, if they are, then, you know, you do whatever the hunting effect is. And if you are not, then nothing happens. You just cancel whatever the action was. It's also a lot more harder depending on what you use to code your event. Yeah, right now we're just using Bucket for paper. Like, yeah, so if we do that, if we have a scoreboard of the hunters and like on interaction they check, we can pretty much make a game that's similar to Cube Championships tag, Because in that one, it's just upon hitting add to the score and TP player with Elytra to whatever, and then after X amount of time, Elytra disappears. Can we... That also should be doable, right? After X amount of time, Elytra disappears. Well, it's upon hitting the ground, the Elytra disappears. So when you're flying and you hit a surface, like... when you go out of flying mode, your Elytra disappears. Which kind of makes me wonder, would you be able to dolphin hop with Elytra, keep Elytra in Cube Championship? Probably not. But it will be interesting to try. Usually I'm way too panicked to do anything, to test anything like that, but... Because it isn't upon a certain time. Because if I fall down into the middle, I lose my Elytra quicker than if I, like, go to the edges. So it is upon me standing on surface. What other game could we already make? Because parkour, I don't like, we are missing the detection thing. Most PvP, like Kit PvP, we're missing what is the easiest to... We could try scoreboards, then we need this. Is there anything else we could already do? No idea. Let's look at scoreboards.
Series for Minecraft for bucket and spigot and paper. So in today's episode, I'll teach you how to create very amazing, Hypixel-like looking scoreboard.
Make a race game? I was just thinking about that. For a race game, I need to know how to do some sort of checkpoint detection. And I don't know how to do that because I was thinking on you could do that via pressure plates, but those can be omitted, so that's not foolproof, so I don't like that option. You can... Plus, pressure plates are gonna be... they're gonna make for really annoying things for when you need boosts or you know, when you actually need an effect. Plus, I don't know how to make that... What's it called? Client-sided. Because if it's server-sided and two people go across the pressure plate at the same time, they won't both set off the update, right? Because only one of them is activating the pressure plate. I mean, do you know how Patrick does that with pressure plates? Yeah, so I would like... There has to be some way. He doesn't use pressure plates. He uses armor stance, right? Yeah, true. But even armor stance, like, how do you... I don't know yet how to detect that someone is walking through an armor stand. Like, that detection thing, I don't know yet. Yeah, no, I don't. I've been trying to figure that out for like almost an hour now. Well, that plus the kit selection plus, you know. But I wouldn't know how to detect collision or... Yeah, no. Don't even know if it would count as collision. Anyway.
Boards. Not only that, but I also have to make them update, as you can see when I'm walking, extremely quickly and without flickering. Let's crack into it. So first of all, we have our main plugins class from the entire tutorial series, and then I've pre-created, excuse me, what's going on here? Okay, IntelliJ is funky. So I've pre-created a board skeleton class. This is pretty much the same to the one that we have created in the timed tasks video. It is a free video in this tutorial series. If you need to refresh your knowledge, how
time task? Wait. Did we use a scoreboard for that? You didn't, right? No, we didn't. I don't know why we have an explosion type thing, but... Wait, what? Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's not what we're doing. Doesn't matter.
Tasks work, please check that video out. I think I can leave a link to it in the description, because we're going to be running the scoreboard update mechanism as a spinning infinite task. So this is a simple class. It implements runable. It is a singleton, right? So private constructor. It has a private singleton instance, and then it has the main method in which we're going to be running the logic to update the scoreboard for each player, as well as it has a static getter to get the instance. Now make sure here just duplicate the task field that we have. Again, let me say that again, mentioned in the first video when we were creating time task. The link is in the description, but basically what I did, I just duplicated the field there, and I duplicated this, and I just changed the board from butterfly task, right? So that's pretty much it. And then here I also duplicated this one. So if you don't have the code, just pause the video and implement this one. This is to prevent the task from running twice. Upon each reload, we're just going to cancel it. Okay, so that's it. Now, the way you're going to be creating these scoreboards, we're going to be creating two methods. The first one is called create new scoreboard for player, and then the other one is just going to be called update scoreboard for player. And before I hop on and I show you how to make it, if you struggle understanding what private, void, new scoreboard, and these brackets are, you need to learn Java, right? Because Minecraft is based on Java and Minecraft plugins use Java. The best way to learn Java,
we've heard you say this more than 13 times already.
We have made for you guys. It's called Project Orion. Not only teaches you Java, but it specifically teaches you in a way where you can create Minecraft plugins. Plus, it has 7 weeks of content just for Minecraft plugins alone, meaning scoreboards, graphical user interfaces, menus. It has anti-cheats, it had mini games, how to sell a plugin, how to land a position at international companies, and it has a lot of cool stuff, including all the basics like advanced commands, permissions, settings, localization, and tons of more. The link is in the description. If you don't like the class after 30 days, there's a money back guarantee on it, so you can just get their money back. And also me is sitting there personally with you twice per week to answer any questions on something called a live coaching call, where you can actually get one-on-one attention, share your screen, and request your code to be reviewed. So having said that, let's continue. We're going to be implementing this method right here in the as a scoreboard. So Bucket already has a way to create scoreboards without, you know, NMS. If you don't know what NMS is, I'll make a video about it. So Bucket has a very simple way to create a scoreboard. All we have to do, we gotta go into the Bucket class, get scoreboard manager, and then create a new scoreboard by calling get new scoreboard. Each scoreboard has an objective. An objective simply encapsulates, it holds the data, and the way you make an objective is you call scoreboard.register new one, and it has a name, so the name can be something unique, such as I'm just gonna call the main class of the plugin and get the plugin's name. So this is essentially going to be our plugin's name, right? This is this, but I just want to call it from the plugin. I don't like to write strings when I don't have to. And then the criteria can be dummy. This can be anything, but I think the convention in Bucket is just to write a dummy criteria. If you are a rebel, you can obviously write yummy or something like that.
Yeah, dummy is usually for a temporary I don't even know how to explain it, but yeah, no, this is that makes sense. Hey, see, Lucreum Java Dev. Back to my roots, right? Yeah, no, I'm trying to figure out how to code plugins, both because I just want to be able to do that, but also because I thought it was smart to like do something with that unused Java knowledge that I have. Try to get it back activated in my brain instead of just collecting dust. And you know, to make me feel a bit useful while, you know, I'm not doing much of anything else. It's going all right. So far, most things are clear. There are some really tricky Minecraft-specific things. But earlier this stream, we were talking about how I was trying to figure out if there was a game that we could already make. Like, kit selection for a kit PvP game, or a parkour game where you keep track of checkpoints, or a racing game where you keep track of checkpoints and also allow for boosts and that kind of stuff. And we don't yet really have the tools to do that in a useful way, like in a good way, in a optimized and foolproof way. Yeah, some of the really basic games that you see in Minecraft minigame events and such. But Minecraft makes things complicated. Yes, it does. Yeah, so right now I was brainstorming about kits, and I think you could do you could store kits in a scoreboard, which means that it will be saved on the player instead of like as a game thing or even as an array, which sounds to me like it's the most optimized way. But I don't yet know how to make or call scoreboards from code. And Matej is explaining it right now. So, you got some very basic dev knowledge? I will keep that in mind. Yeah, no, it's mostly Minecraft specific questions that I've got, I guess. Oh, Stream Elements, that actually reminds me, thank you. There's a new article out for Sphere News that I wrote. A point of view article, so. Anyway.
So, that's the objective right there. We also have to set this.
Doing game designer like school study? No, just for fun. Cause right now I'm on sick leave, right? You're gonna read nice. Yeah, I'm on sick leave, like, and like long-term sick leave, but I kind of wanna keep my brain active, I guess. You know, because puzzle games don't do that enough. No, I haven't coded in such a long while, so it seems like a good way.
Display slot, that means where you want to show the scoreboard. It can be below name, in the tab list, or in the sidebar. In this video, I'm just going to be covering sidebars. So that's it. And you can also set a display name. As you could see in the beginning, it was cow prototype. And you can use chat colors, chat color dot yellow dot chat color dot bold.
That color still is deprecated, dude. My dude. I think I know that, but weren't you on like the art side of game dev? Are you also coding? Because if so, what language are you coding in? Are you also coding Java then?
To show it. Now the problem is you can't really use two chat colors after each other because Java doesn't know how to join them, because these are not strings, these are actually enums. So you have to use an empty string in between to help Java, you know, split it. So that's how we create an objective. The display name is going to be the title of the scoreboard. Now we have to set it to the player by calling player.setScoreboard. There we go. Now the way you create scores is you type in objective get score, and then the entry of this score is actually the value which you want to show. Awesome. So that's how you can create these different scores. Let me just...
Whoa. Games in the lobby are under heavy development. Oh, okay. Why is get score? Wait, no, that does not make a whole lot of sense to me. Why is it this get score of everything? Also, wait. Now I have a scoreboard that's independent of the player.
Add some colors. There we go. Now, quick info: if you want to have multiple lines that are empty in the scoreboard, you have to space them out, and you have to add a unique chat color to each line. So let me just add this red, and this can be green. And don't worry, guys, because scoreboards can only have 16 lines. Let me show you this. So they can only go from 15 down to 0. Right? This is the score number on the right. Unfortunately, you cannot hide this. That's just how Minecraft is rendered. And then the actual score value is the text that we want to. And then the cow prototype is the title of the scoreboard. So,
well, I used to actually did a full year in 3D animation and ended up moving to game designer. A game designer is a person who creates the rules, mechanics, and experience of a game. They decide how it plays, what the goals are, what kind of emotions and challenges the player will feel. It's a mix of creativity and logic. They design the gameplay levels. So then you need the coding knowledge, because you need to know what the limits are. And for prototypes, yeah, that also makes sense. That's pretty cool. Yeah, no, being game designer is so cool. So, see Hearted game soon? Question mark? You're gonna make The Witcher 5? Your timing is very interesting. I started watching The Witcher. Like, yeah, on Netflix. I want to say I just started, but I've been watching for... Why are you sorry? So far it's alright. Oh no. Well, there is a new season coming out soon, right? Oh no. Well, you see, the question is, you know, to change the main lead, right? Shush, no spoilers. No, I don't. Uh-oh. Well. Yeah. No spoils. Okay, okay, okay. I'm hesitant. No, I can't. Oh, gosh. I will try. I will try. See, the issue is I just come off a streak on Netflix where every series I've watched only has one season because Netflix decided to cancel it. Which I guess honestly is on me for not properly researching before I start watching, but having a series that soon has 4 seasons sounded kinda good to me. Netflix does cancel good shows. It just, oh. And some of these, like, sometimes I'm watching a show and I'm like, you know, okay, this is amusing. It's not really my type of show, but I can see this doing well for, like, a lot of other people, because this is so up other people's, like, alley on humor, and then it's still cancelled. And then there are shows where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so my thing. I would never want this to end, and it gets cancelled. And then there's shows that Netflix actively, like, promotes to me, and I'm like, I don't know if I can trust this. And you can't, because they just cancel it. Netflix only cancels shows that don't earn them profit. I feel like Netflix's standard of earning, I don't think it's earning them profit. I think it's earning them enough profit. And I think Netflix has insane standards for enough. Also, when you flood the market with these amounts of series and such, like, of course, most of it is not gonna stick because you're spreading your viewers thin. They use people's data if a lot of people click off it. Well, because I have read reports on, like, a series that actually did make them money, but they just didn't deem it enough. Yeah, Netflix just has insane standards for what a series needs to be. And once again, when you spread your viewership as thin as they are with the amount of things they output, then yeah, no. They're just going too fast. Good shows, and I killed them in front of you. Exactly. No, they're just outputting things too fast. Like, yeah, you want to have a lot of stuff to watch on Netflix, but there already is a lot of. Everyone has limited time that they can spend on Netflix, right? Like, at the very least, there's 24 hours in a day, or best. I guess. Whatever. You know, at most, there's 24 hours in a day. I think someone who would do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, I still don't think they can ever completely watch Netflix. Because there's too much stuff there. They need to pace themselves better. Because all they're creating is a bunch of disappointing. Because you know, you spread your viewers thin, which means a lot of shows are gonna get cancelled, which means all of those thin spread viewers are annoyed. Whereas if you have less options where your viewer, then you can actually say, okay, these are the ones that the people like. Some shows are also on a contract, so Netflix might own the contract for a year. I mean, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, it's just annoying. Because also, if a showrunner knows it's only... Usually it's, there's a contract for a year with the option of more seasons. Right? A contract for 1 season with the option of more. And that's usually how show writers write their, you know, main storyline. Canceling love shows and raising the price definitely make it yeah. Yep. Oh no, oh no. Well. Wait, my mic is... My mic is catching whenever Faye is breathing out. She's sleeping. I don't think you guys can catch it because it's really soft, but my mic is spiking whenever she's breathing. I think I need to turn down the music for that. Wait. Let's see. Oh, come on. Did you hear it? Yep, so Dogo Eep. All right. Okay, let's...
That's how to do it. Now, if you just do this, it's not going to do anything. You have to actually set the line to it, and the line has to be basically from the top. So this one is going to be line number 8, and then the other one is going to be line number 7. You get the point. There we go. I have updated the lines. Now the problem is when it comes to walked 0 centimeter, this is pretty hard to update because essentially what you would have to do.
Wait. Hi, Bayern. Wait, why are we doing that? Wait, I missed it.
To it, and if you just do this, it's not going to do anything. We have to actually set the line to it, and the line has to be basically from the top. So this one is going to be centimeter.
So, objective.getScore with whatever it's supposed to be called, .setScore. This feels like it doesn't make sense, but whatever. What are you trying to do? A scoreboard, right? Yeah, yes, but a scoreboard via plugins, not scoreboard via commands. I know how to do it via commands, just not here.
this is pretty hard to update, because essentially what you would have to do here is you would have to call this entire thing every single tick or every single time you want to update it, which is going to cause this scoreboard to flash. It's going to disappear and then appear again. We call it a flicker, and this is pretty annoying for the eyes, and players may be susceptible to seizures when they see that, so we do not want to do that. So we're going to get rid of this line, and the way we're going to show this line is using teams. There we go, team 1, and we can simply register a new team by calling scoreboard register new team. The name of the team does not matter. The issue here, it has to be unique, so make sure it is something unique. Team 1, and then we're going to add the entry to the team, which essentially is just going to be a chat color that has to be unique. So this essentially is the team.
I gave Winterland players a seizure for charity. I think I know which charity we would be sponsoring next year.
Team key. String team key, just to make sure that you guys see it a little bit better. And this entry works just like this entry on the score. So team score is an entry, is the same as here. But except if you type in an entry, say, walked 0 centimeter, and you try to update it, you are going to get the flicker again. So we have to sort of hack this, and the way we're going to call this walked, right, we have to actually use something called set prefix, like this, and then team 1 set the suffix is going to be actual the value that we want to show, right? So that's how it is. It's a bit hacky, but that's just the best way to update the scoreboard without any flicker whatsoever. So the entry right here will now work just as a space, right? So I'm just gonna copy the team key, which is just an empty character, an empty chat color, so you cannot see it here. It is basically invisible. And then after the invisible line will actually be the text. So the text is going to show like games in this lobby, but before we have the invisible color. That's just a bit hacky, but that's how it works. So that's that. Now we have to then go to our objective, get this score, and then the entry has to be the same as the team key, so Bucket can recognize it, and then we can set the score to 0 so that it now shows at the line 0. So again, we're going to be creating a new team using prefix and suffix to update the information, and then the team entry is basically the unique entry, the unique key on the scoreboard, which is empty because we do not want to show it because of update problems. And then we have to call the same score by the team key by the entry for Bucket to simply place the appropriate team on the appropriate line, like that. Hopefully that makes a bit sense. It was extremely confusing when I started, and I always made a mistake of messing this up. That's why I'm just putting the team key on top of it to make you guys a little bit more or less confused, but I understand if it's still a bit confusing. You're just gonna get used to it over time. Good, so that's it. Now when it comes to updating the scoreboard, very similarly, what we're gonna do is we can just get the team right here. So we're gonna get the scoreboard. Now we're not gonna want to create a new one. We're just gonna get the old one from the player. We're gonna get the team. Remember, this is the same key, right? And then we're gonna get the... No, we don't have to get a team key. Okay, AI is messing up here. And then we're just gonna update the suffix of the team. And to update the suffix, I can simply ask the player to return his statistics when it comes to walking 1 centimeter.
That's cool.
Right? And the reason I'm using brackets right here is that this is actually an integer, and I can count walking, and I can also count sprinting 1 centimeter. And at the end, I can just add centimeters as a string. And before, I've simply made this to be yellow. And in Java, again, it's going to be a bit weird. You cannot really join enums plus integers. You can only do that with enums plus strings, so we have to add an empty string right here. Awesome, guys, that's it. Now the way we're going to show this scoreboard, we're simply going to iterate through all players that are online, and if the player
iterating through all players
already has a scoreboard, and the player's scoreboard and the objective of the scoreboard by this name, by the unique plugin name, is not null, that means that we can just update the player's scoreboard. Otherwise, we can create a new scoreboard for the player. This is important because multiple plugins can obviously have already added another scoreboard to the player. And this is really cool because you can simply create different scoreboards for different players depending on their permissions, right? So if the player has the board...
Hey, see, what kind of information would be cool to have on a scoreboard on Winterland?
board permission, for example, or if the player is in a specific world, you can get the world name equals to, say, minigames, right? So you can do that if you want to, and you can just have different conditions showing different scoreboards for the player. Let me jump into the game and let me show you how everything works. Also, now in the game, as you can see, everything works correctly except the vault doesn't have a space. So what you can do, you can
yeah, I already wondered about that,
prefix
but okay.
and then add a space.
Thank you.
Right after it. And if I restart everything, I don't bother to do that. It's going to show up properly. So this is it. This is how it works. You can see it updates extremely quickly and there's absolutely zero flashing. Now on that note, before I end this video, I do want to mention the period is set to way too low and it may have a performance impact on your plugin. So I always recommend you guys up the period to at least 20, which means the scoreboard will update once once per second. So updates once per second, right? Or you can even do, say, once per 30 seconds, which means 2 times a minute, right? Obviously, I do not recommend that because you have to wait to see a new score, but I think once per second is just fine. So the higher the score, the less lag, because if you call update scoreboard, this one has to load the scoreboard, this one has to find.
That's what I was wondering about, like performance-wise, because if I go through all of my players every tick of the game, that's insane. Once per hour, you have to make the whole event not knowing your score. Yeah, exactly. Well, we could see if we can figure out the Tiltify integration stuff and see if we can import the donation amount potentially. Then have a scoreboard for, or yeah, have the information on the side about how much was raised, and then we wouldn't need an overlay because then it's already there. I think your plugin is just asking the client or the player for the info. Shouldn't be too heavy. Well, but this is running server side, right? And if I do this for example, you know, Winterland, let's say 75 people, which is not, no one's gonna be, how many were online at the same time last time? Okay, whatever. If we're going for an event, then you're like 40, 45 people. And then every tick, 20 times per second for 40 people. You're gonna feel that. Waiting. To be fair, scoreboard for donations would need to be updated like what, once a minute maybe? Not even that. Exactly. You're not getting donations every tick. So for the donation thing, it wouldn't matter. But in general, I was talking about like, you know, if you are doing a scoreboard for walking or whatever, because I was for, which one was it? Was it for the kit selection? Yeah, for the kit selection, to see if like which kits are still available. I was brainstorming about going through all of the players. But if you have to do that, that wouldn't need to be done every tick. Because you want it to be updated as soon as you can. Then again, you don't need to render that, I guess. That's also gonna take a lot of... No, there's 20 ticks a second. Not if you want to keep track of kit selection, like what hasn't been selected yet. Because then a second is long, and then you risk people picking the same thing twice. That was, to be fair, that theory was already, like, we already decided against that. But but once again, that would not be something that needs rendering, so then we don't really care about. Well, that will save a lot if it doesn't need to be rendered. That is, until the next, like, whatever update that's gonna be, where they are gonna work with 2 threads, where rendering will be on a different thread than everything else in the game. Then it doesn't matter at all. That's gonna be epic, by the way. That's gonna make so many things run so much smoother. But okay, yeah, no, for Winterland, we, you know, like, updating this like every minute, maybe even every 5 minutes, will be more than enough. Man, what am I getting myself into? How do I tiltify Minecraft plugin? There is a plugin available which allows server owners to modify what commands get executed when a user donates on Tiltify. Which would mean, well, you know, that would give us the code that we would probably need. The rabbit hole of game dev, yup. Yep. Bucket does not work. Oh. Paper does work. Why does bucket not work? Huh? Huh? I think we should be fine, but... Which one does that show again? On neither. Okay, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, so we should be fine with that. I did not mean to close it for you guys. I'm sorry. I just wanted to open this one. Yeah, we have the source code for 1.19. So that might require some changes. That could be cool. Noted. Has been noted. Just checking Java because I don't know much, but to optimize the kit picking, could you use a server authoritative in memory? Oh, what now? What's a CAS? No clue. Well, in the end, I have thought of something else that we could do for the kit picking, which uses scoreboards, and that should be foolproof. The server is the only one that decides what's real. Okay. Doesn't Minecraft work that way anyway? My issue was with the checking if the kit was free. Yeah. So in the end, what I think the solution here is, we have learned how to make a GUI menu with like multiple items in there that you can click and then something happens. So upon the click, I disable the option for the other team members. And I make a scoreboard where it says, you know, name plus option 1, for example, right? Like 1. And then if I want to undo, because that was where my issue was, that was where I ran into the blockage. That's where I ran into trouble. If I want to change my kit, I can then click the unchange, and then I have stored in my scoreboard what my kit is. And both ways, like that way works for both. I choose a kit every round, and I only choose a kit once, and I use that for so many rounds. Brain did not brain. Okay, so when I have 5 kit options. If I click on option 1, my scoreboard will say 1. If I click on option 2, my scoreboard will say 2. If I click on option 3, my scoreboard will say 3. So I click on option 2, I can disable that option for all the teammates because that is reactive. I can theoretically make that work. I don't quite know yet how to work with teams, but that's okay, that will come later. I can disable for the other team members because it's a reactive thing, and I add a scoreboard for me as the player with option 1 because I picked 1. Be a real game that pull up paint and explain with bad drawings. Oh no. Oh no. How am I gonna do that? Works paint. I paint. Whee! Well, actually, no, I don't want that. So like click on the kit, it kills the server kit. Yeah, pretty much. I don't like the continuous checking thing. I have and always will prefer reactive changes. So I don't like looping through something to check it every tick or every so many ticks. I very much prefer an action is taken or there has been a collision or whatever. That's my same issue with the what's it called? Checkpoint thing for parkour things, for parkour games. Like, I don't want to be checking all the time whether someone is passing through my checkpoint bounding box. I want to have someone pass that bounding box, and because they're passing it, that sets something in motion. Kinda. That's what I would prefer. Because that is way easier on whatever is running the code. Exactly. We don't overwork our poor server. But yeah, I don't know how detection works. There has to be something where I can check, or where like there's a some sort of collision or an I don't know. But so far I only know of the interaction entity, which you can attack or interact with, so left or right click. You can check the status of a block. You would still be doing that every tick though. Or at least you would still be looping that. But for example, an interaction entity works with a click. And surely there is a similar thing where I can make a bounding box? It's called a bounding box, right? Where you just move through and it activates. Because that is how pressure plates work. Only tell the server to check when the block status changes. You think there is an automatic change for someone standing on a block? Maybe, yeah, maybe. Is there... So that's a block thing. There could be... Let me see, this is all information from the block itself. We don't... Yeah, sure. Let's try that. I mean, once again, because the pressure plates works in the same way, right? Like, there is a collision between the pressure plate and the player or the entity box. So there has to be something in the game that allows for that. The question is it available to plug-in programmers? Pressure plate, yeah, it does. Yeah, but oh, sorry, it does change status. Normal block doesn't. No, but if I can give a normal block... If I can give a normal block, whatever that box is, that colliding box is, that a pressure plate has. All I'm saying is that the game already checks whether there is a collision like that. So if I can use that collision entity, vehicle block collision event, what is that? Gets the block the vehicle collided with. Gets the velocity at which the vehicle collided with the block. Isn't a Litra a vehicle? You could check the block underfoot. I think you check, so I can ask from a player, hey player, what block are you standing on? But that's another one that needs to be looped, which it is an option. Yeah. I don't know if it's the most optimal option. Yes, I know. I am making everything very, very difficult. Yes, true. So, do we have player event? Event.player. Yeah, what are these? When you interact with an armor stand, that enter. Bucket empty. Change main hand, change world. Drop item and then book. Player event. XP change. Player input. Activity. Interact at entity. Interact entity. Item break, item consume. So far nothing with block, we're far past the B. Move. Portal. Quit. No. Nope. Okay. Block. Event block. You're not finding anything, no. Block fertilize, block farm. Cauldron crafter. That isn't, yeah. Tripwire too. Very, very true. Ooh, area effect cloud sensor. Oh, that was not... Okay, well, give me 1 second. Be right back. A no effect potion, but it acts as a change in status. Maybe. A microsecond with an effect, does nothing, is invisible, tells the server, hey, check. That would be really cool. They're optimized to have no collision with the world or other entities. Makes them perfect for situations around player. Perfectly static, only be moved with commands. There's a duration radius. What is this? Yeah, exactly. If you keep the radius small, but then how? Register an entity log. This feels very promising, but I still don't know how to use this, like practically speaking. It feels like this might indeed be the way. Register on entity, nope. So then we would want it's either area of effect. Let me know if you want to send a link so I can permit you to do that. Area effect cloud. And area cloud apply event. Can you open this in a new tab? Why not? Hi, area. Thank you. Called when a lingering potion applies its effect. Represents an area effect cloud which will imbue a potion effect onto entities which enter it. This might be it. And then with this, with this you also do the boosts. So when do you... So what would this be then? Because it's not on command. Is it a listener? Public void on... Well, we need something with like area. I want the... Darn it. Area effect cloud. Thank you. Let me check it. This is spawn, this just... Oh, it's even with checkpoints and all that. An event listener? On cloud. Okay. On cloud. No? That's event handler? It's not auto-completing, which I don't like. 'Cause this is what the code that C sent me says. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I wanted this one. So then on cloud. It's not one cloud. I want to know whether that is a... Yeah, no, that doesn't help. I don't know if this is, I don't know yet. It's promising. I still don't know yet. Because these are easy. Because these are already, like, this is stuff... As far as I'm aware... That's stuff that already is in the game. And I don't know whether this is already in the game. Right? Here I'm just building on stuff that I know is native to Minecraft. With this I don't know and I cannot find it. So that might be worth trying. But it's gonna take a bit more than just this, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I have found the class. Oh, I have found the class. Okay. Okay. I think that's it. Get entity. Get affected entities. Is cancelled. Set cancelled. Get handlers. Get handler list. Yep. I think you might have found it. Area effect cloud. I don't think we should start on this anymore, considering I have barely half an hour left. But, excuse me, thank you. I am definitely saving that, and all of that is remaining open. So I can look through that a bit more. I think I know what will. Well, depends. Right, because I think next week will be Winterland stuff. Because this month we're also going to be coding stuff for Winterland. Originally that was supposed to only be a data pack. Now there might also be a plugin involved. Whoops. Anyway. that will be this month as well. So there might be a bit less learning, a bit more doing, which considering we haven't coded anything today, might be a good thing. Thank you, C. That was epic. Good job. Good job Googling. You have to call a friend. Alright. We tried. Hey, you know, we learned quite a bit of stuff. We didn't even finish the video. Oh, let's finish the video real quick. Let's do that and then we're done for today. Because otherwise I'm gonna feel very unaccomplished. At least then we can say, you know, we learned stuff. We've seen most of it anyway, so... Let's see.
Find a team. This one has to find statistics. It doesn't take a lot of performance, but if you're gonna do it every ticks, which means 20 times per second, then it will add up on your performance penalty and your plugin will lag a bit. So I just recommend this, especially if you have many players. If you have over 100 players, make sure this update is as high as you can bear. Alright guys, this is it for this video. Again, if you want to...
Hey chat, we already saw everything in the video. Okay. Oh, I have questions, but I'm also still learning, right? I'm still way at the start. Like, I have full faith that once we get through these lessons, you know, we will figure all that stuff out. I was just today trying to see if with like the 12 episodes of knowledge that we already have, we could figure it out, and the answer to that was no. But this 13th one helped for kid stuff. So I appreciate the offer and I will keep that in mind. But I don't think it's useful just yet because I'm still so early on in like learning what the heck Minecraft did with all the... There is so much. There is so much. So, yeah. Alright. Yeah, so next week, most likely, we will be going into... They definitely did. I think this just means... I have never had a full-on actual proper coding job, right? Like, I did something customer service like, where I knew a lot about the dev side and I knew what the devs were working on, but I wasn't deving myself. And then I did a job where I was deving myself, but it was like low code. It was just drag and drop. There was no code involved, which annoyed me to no end. This is the first time I am like actually coding something that I haven't created from scratch. Or something where at the very least I don't have access to the code from scratch. You can find a lot of because Mojang's really transparent or getting more transparent as we go. So you can find a lot, but then Minecraft is just too big to know everything. This is really my first time working with code or working on something that is already up and running and I'm just adding to it. So for me, it's also quite a switch in thinking, right? Because I can't just I can't be like, oh, I need this, let me code it in. No, because I am forced to stick to the area that Mojang has given us to like do stuff with. Same base, different execution. Yeah. It's no longer you can just use all your Java knowledge and create this stuff. It's really like, okay, what already exists and what are my options with that? So that is, I'm gonna be honest, that is really interesting. It is weird, but it just means that you don't know your puzzle pieces. Right? Like, for example, I know that there needs to be something with collision because that is already in the game. But then the question is, how is it called? How do I call it? How do I use it? Am I completely free using it like the way I want to? That kind of stuff. It's really cool. It's really cool, but it's also still kind of new. All right. Let's see, who are we rating? who is live. Yeah. It is very fun. It's just, yeah, it's different, and I need to refresh this page. It is taking some getting used to. Thank you for being here, C. Thank you for the help. And have a good rest of your day. Alright. Johan is streaming. Are we gonna go to Johan? H-Bomb is playing Soul Steel. I want to see Soul Steel. Chat, we're going to H-Bomb. Sorry, Johan. I want to see this, because this is... this is... it's Sands of Time like, isn't it? We're going there. Alright. Yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow with some Halloweenish stuff. And in terms of coding, we'll be back next week with Winterland things. Most likely we'll start with the data pack because that's the most important one. That's the one that needs to be done. The rest is just for fun. But yeah. Chat, see you guys soon. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And see you guys later. Bye. 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 Bye.